This is the Frank Sontag Show. That is Korn. Song is Blind. Brian Head Welch is my in-studio guest. His brand new book, With My Eyes Wide Open. And I'm grateful to have Brian in studio. So as you were sharing, Korn hits the scene, goes huge. You spiral down, drugs, alcohol, and you reach a point. Your daughter's born. You try to get clean, rehab, relapse. Back on the road, and the cycle continues, and then you ended up at a church, and you walked into church, and you said you just felt the presence of God.
Yeah, it was a peace from another realm, and it was that familiar thing that I felt like that long ago. But man, it's just the beauty that Jesus. It's just He's light. You know, He is light. He is life. He is everything, and I felt that, and I was just that's what I needed. That's what I wanted, because I was looking for love all those years, you know. I was looking for just contentment. I was empty, man. I was empty. I was empty for so many years, and I wanted the millions of dollars to make me feel complete, but it just was not making me feel complete, and I didn't know why. And that's why I wanted to kill myself, because I didn't know why. But as soon as I raised my hand at that church service, and I said, Jesus, you know, come into my heart, it's like the emptiness. Picture a empty container, you know, and water started to fill it up slowly. And so just that bottom just that little bit of water at the bottom, it was starting to satisfy. And so I started wanting more. I wanted more water to fill the container because it was so empty. And so even though I was struggling with drugs back and forth, the people at the church said, just get to church and fellowship with Christians. You don't have to be perfect. So I would go to church on drugs. But in my heart, I wanted to quit. It's not like I wanted to go party in church, you know. And they said the things in your life will start to fall away that are killing you. And so I started going to church, and little bit by little bit, things just started dropping out of my life. And once I threw the drugs away that day, I remember I was all in. I was just like, you know, I remember I did fall asleep that night when I threw away all the drugs and I didn't have contact with the drug dealers anymore. I fell asleep and I woke up and I couldn't move, and I felt like I was paralyzed, and all I could do was just go, Jesus, 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 because my arms wouldn't move, and it was a demonic attack, and that scared me even closer to Him, you know? I was like, this is real. Oh my gosh, the demons are even real. So I wanted just all Jesus, and so I did everything the Bible said. I went to everybody that I wronged, and I said, would you please forgive me for anything I've ever done? I just wanted to do anything that Jesus said to do. And I said, I went to other people that wronged me, and I said, hey man, I just want to say, I don't want our relationship broken, and I forgive you for, you know, doing me wrong, and please forgive me for, you know, overreacting maybe. And so everything I did, I just wanted to be clean, you know, and so it was awesome. It was really awesome.
In your book, and part of that quote unquote getting clean, I think it's safe to say, you reached a crossroads with Korn, and you decided to leave.
Yes. And, you know, some of my Christian friends were telling me that it would be a good idea if I stayed in there, you know, and was a light in that band. But I remember one of my friends were telling me that, and as he was speaking, I wrote about it in my first book, that I had an overwhelming feeling to go home and quit Korn right then. It was just like, boom, God saying, this is your path. Because I was double-minded about the whole thing. What do I do? Where do I go? You know? And so I went home, and I sent them all an email, and I said, please don't contact me. It's hard enough as it is, and I'm done. And sure enough, I went in the media and started talking about Jesus and what He's done in my life, because there was opportunity for that. And I was like, wow, what a pulpit, you know? CNN, MTV. And, you know, I was a baby Christian, so I was saying some stuff crazy, but the majority of stuff was like, I was lost. I was empty. I was dead. I was going to be dead. I wanted to kill myself. And now I want to live. He saved me. I was telling everybody that. And so Korn was not pleased with that because they were starting to do, management were doing a huge record deal, worth millions. It was $25 million. And, so the record company that they were negotiating with called them and said, "What is going on with your band? This guy just quit. Like, what's going on?" And, a founding member quit and you're trying to do a deal with us. And so the band was mad at me. They were like, "You're ruining this for us." And so, but I had to do what I had to do. And, and I would have done a few things different, but not much,
Brian Welch is my guest. So how long of a period of time? I know that when you walked away from the band, you were out for almost 10 years before you rejoined. We're going to talk about that too. And you focused on your daughter, being a single dad, getting deeper in the Lord. Talk about those times.
Oh, man. The good, the bad, and ugly years, I like to call those. I got to know God so intimately. I mean, I was one of those, like, you're reading the Bible, just David. Those years I like to think about David, because he was getting chased by Saul. It felt like I was getting chased by the enemy of our souls those years. But I would have these sweet encounters with Jesus, and it felt like he just walked right in the room, and I did have some encounters that it was just so beautiful, and I live for that. I still do to this day. It's just a relationship with him is everything. But, I had some awesome times to put out my book, and it did really well, and it touched a lot of lives, hit the New York Times bestseller list. And then like a year after that, I lost everything and I lost all my money, and I had some shady characters that I was in partnership with, and we were talking about forming companies that would be able to feed the orphans, and that was what we wanted to do. But meanwhile, this guy got saved like me out of like the crazy kind of a gangster lifestyle where he was just a crooked businessman, and he had a lot of those how do you say it, unredeemed qualities to himself. And we lost all our money, long story short, and I ended up with like 3 to 5 lawsuits with just different people, and that guy disappeared, and they were just, get the rock star, sue him. And so a lot of trials and tribulations, and just when I was like at the point of like I was just feeling like I want to give up, Jesus would just come and just shower me with his gentleness and kindness and love me to resurrection life again. And I would keep going. And that went over and over. I had just times I wanted to quit over and over, but, I got through it. I actually found out that bankruptcy is a good thing for people that mean well, that aren't crooks, and that bankruptcy code is really helpful for people that are at, lose control of their situation. And so I went through bankruptcy. I lost my house and my 2 cars and barely made it through. There was a couple times where me and my daughter we made up a game to look for quarters so I could get her bread and like, sandwich stuff for school. And, for a multimillionaire, that was an ordeal. I'm telling you, wow. But part of me was like, I heard about these big ministers that were teaching these huge ministries, and you hear their stories that they walked through just poverty at first, and God takes you down low in order to exalt you. And so I had that revelation. So I was like, part of me was freaking out, but the majority of me was like, this is my journey, and I need to walk through it and trust. So, yeah.
Wow. Brian Welch is my guest. His new book is With My Eyes Wide Open, and when we come back, we're going to talk about his new book. We're going to talk about how his daughter's doing. We're going to talk about what he's up to. He did go back to Korn, what that's like, and much more as we continue in a moment.